Hello, I'm immigration attorney Carla Casas. I'm making this video primarily for our clients, but also for anyone else who could benefit from this information. I'm going to be talking about what to expect during this next Trump administration and what I would recommend that certain people do depending on your immigration situation. So the first thing is, I know there's been a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear. We've had a lot of clients calling us, feeling very stressed out, which I completely understand. But I want to remind you, the first thing is that, most things are not going to happen overnight. Trump has a lot of plans, a lot of things that he said he wants to do, but based on what we saw during the last administration, which, I was already around, had my practice, so this is not my first rodeo. There's a lot he didn't do. There's a lot of things he did to scare the community or things he said to scare the community. So I would say take it with a grain of salt. And, until it happens, we don't know that it's going to happen. The second thing is that there's a difference between something that is law and it was, created by Congress, and something that is maybe just a policy guidance from the government, or a policy, or an executive order, which we know that can easily be undone because if a new president comes in, he can cancel the prior president's executive order. So I think it's important to understand, for example, things like the uvisa, vawa, family petitions, citizens being able to petition for their children, their spouse, those things can't change overnight. If Trump wanted to get rid of that, there's a process for that. Congress would have to act. So it's not something that, that would happen overnight or even happen at all. So I think it's important to keep that in mind. We've had, some of our clients who have a green card already, have called us worried. Nothing's going to happen to that. I mean, the law with regard to that is not, he hasn't indicated he's planning on stripping away rights for green card holders. And again, that would be a whole process. It's not something that is going to happen overnight, or that we think it's going to happen at all. The things that are more at risk are things like, well, DACA. We already know DACA. DACA has been at risk for a while. DACA is still working its way through the courts. We haven't had a final decision on DACA yet from the federal court. And it may go back up to the Supreme Court. But my advice to any client of mine who has DACA, if you have an avenue for a green card, get on that avenue. Don't wait anymore. I know a lot of our DACA clients are by now married to a U.S. citizen, or maybe have even children who can, petition for them. So if you have an avenue for a green card, don't wait. Don't wait until, DACA goes away. I would start working on that now. Also, advanced parole. For those DACA recipients that don't have a legal entry, if you entered the country without permission, DACA advanced parole is a way for you to be able to get a legal entry, and that's going to change your process completely. If you're married to a U.S. citizen and if you enter the country with advanced parole, now you have a legal entry and you can do adjustment of status, which means you don't have to leave the country to apply for the green card. You don't have to have the interview outside the country. It's a much faster process. So for those who have DACA, I would encourage you to explore those options. Now, I will say, obviously, if you apply for advanced parole right now, it's not going to get approved until we're into the Trump administration. So there are some risks. We don't know if he's going to, if it's going to be too dangerous to travel. So if you do apply, know that we're going to have to reevaluate again before you travel. But it's something to consider, because for a lot of people that has been life-changing in terms of how much shorter your green card process is going to be. TPS is another area that unfortunately appears to be in danger. Trump has made very clear that he is likely not going to extend TPS for a lot of Central American countries, Haiti, probably a lot of other countries as well. So the people that have TPS, same advice. If you have another avenue available to you, definitely try to get on that avenue, explore it. Obviously, talk to an attorney first. If you're my client, you can reach out to us to schedule a consultation about that. But definitely don't wait. We don't want to wait. We want to be able to take advantage of the things we have while we have them, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen. Can't, tell the future. So we're going to have to take advantage of things now. So DACA, TPS, both of those categories we know that are on shaky ground. With regard to those individuals that have a green card, if you're considering becoming a citizen, I would definitely encourage you to do it sooner rather than later. We saw during Trump's last administration that he definitely wanted to make it harder for people to become citizens. He wanted to make the exam longer. He was trying to add additional questions. We saw the wait times were a lot longer when people applied for naturalization. We saw more denials. So definitely, if you want to become a citizen, now's the time to go ahead and obviously speak with an attorney first, because for some people it's risky. So it depends. It's case by case. But I would definitely encourage you to do that. If you are a legal permanent resident, the safest way is once you are a citizen, because at that point you cannot be deported. And so now is the time to do that. Another thing that is probably going to happen at some point, Trump has said he wants to deport a lot of people, and there probably will be more immigration raids during his administration. So for individuals that are at risk of that, I would definitely encourage you to have a consultation with an immigration attorney to figure out what your options are. I do represent individuals who are in deportation proceedings as well. So if you're my client, we can talk about what your options would be if that happens. That way you can be prepared. You can gather the documents that we're going to need, because, if you're detained, it's going to be a lot harder to gather everything that you need from jail. So it's definitely a good idea for anyone who's at risk of that. Start thinking about that, start planning. What would your next steps be if that happens? Have an attorney that you trust, that you can reach out to, who can represent you in immigration court. So those are all things that you can do now while we have some time to be able to plan. And lastly, another thing I want to mention is that the processing times are probably going to get longer for most cases. I know that a lot of clients are already frustrated that things are taking too long. Well, unfortunately, they might take longer next year. And, once Trump becomes president, that's what we saw the last time. Everything was taking longer. Things can become more difficult as well. They can interpret certain regulations to be stricter and make it more difficult to apply for a benefit. So we will be on the lookout for that. Obviously, I'm planning to continue. This will be the first of many videos I'll be making for my clients and for anyone else who's interested. We'll be sharing these in various places. But I definitely want to make sure that we keep you informed, because just from what we learned last time, there could be a lot of changes that could happen quickly. And so I want to make sure that you are informed. But at the same time, I also want everyone to, stay calm, because right now there's a lot we don't know still. And we can't assume the worst. We just don't know yet. So the things you can do to prepare is start getting your documents in order, figure out if there's an avenue that you can get on, and don't wait any longer. If you're a green card holder, consider applying for citizenship. Those are the things that we have control over and that we can work on now. Again, I'm attorney Carlacasas. If you are my client and you want to schedule a consultation specifically to strategize about your case, about what can be done, you can call our office and schedule a consultation. Please be patient, because it's busy right now. And the holidays are coming up too, but I will do my best to be able to schedule. Most the consultations are going to be virtual at this point, but feel free to reach out to us, and we will be here. We're not going anywhere. We'll be here to guide you and make sure that we are prepared for all the things that may be coming next year. Thanks for listening. Bye.